Good evening, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and today we're talking about the 2024, the 2020 Census reapportionment numbers, which were released on Monday or Tuesday. Um, Actually, this is a lot less dramatic than I think we were all expecting. Um, a lot of people were expecting Arizona to gain a seat. Who else was slated to gain a seat? Actually, hilariously, it was literally just the only state that lost out on gaining an extra seat was Arizona. However, there were a few states that were also projected to lose districts, in addition to the ones that did. Minnesota, Alabama, and Rhode Island all dodged losing a district. Rhode Island's would have gone to Florida. It doesn't actually matter, but Rhode Island's would have gone to Florida, Alabama's would have gone to Texas, and Minnesota's would have gone to Arizona. Just as kind of an example. Instead, as it stands, Texas and Florida also lost out on what could have been. In that Florida, most projections had Florida gaining 2 districts, and therefore putting them at 31 electoral votes, or 29 seats total. Texas was projected to gain another seat on top of, the 2 they already did, so they would be gaining 3, and that would have put, that would have put them at 41, or 39 districts, 41 electoral votes. New York, there were some projections showing them losing 2 districts. And right now, New York is actually, apparently, Cuomo thinks that they can keep their 27th district. That's not how the census works. The census collects the data, and then they use a mathematical formula to redistribute the 435 House seats by population, roughly. And when I say roughly, they use a very weird formula to determine how the how the congressional apportionment goes. And I'm sorry, New York, you can't legally fight the math. And I don't think there's ever been a census case that's actually overturned a result of a count. If they can prove that there was an undercount, sure, maybe they can get it back. But no, this is going to take way too long to litigate. And are you really going to screw over a state and tell a congressman from another state that they can't serve if if they're elected, and force 2 states to redistrict? No, that's ridiculous. So they're not going to keep their 27th district. I'm sorry, and actually, I'm not even sorry to New York or Cuomo or anyone like. No, I'm not sorry. You're not getting your 27th seat back. Not anytime soon, at least. Montana is a big winner here, in that they finally got their 2nd congressional district back. For a very long time, Montana had 2 congressional districts. I think there was even a point in time where they had 3. And then in the 1990 census, they lost it. and now they're getting it back. Oregon gains a district as we expected. Colorado gains a district as we expected. North Carolina gains a district as we expected. California, this is the first census where they've lost a district. Originally, they had, I think it was up until the 2000 census. Every single census, California gained at least one district. And then the 2010 census was the first time they had not gained a district. Or multiple districts. I think after the 1990 census, they gained 7. And I'm sorry about that. Anyway, then they... I'm trying to gain composure again. So now this is the first time they've lost a district. I don't think that's going to slow down. I think they could lose another district next census. I know that sounds crazy to say, but there's kind of a limit. California, especially the urban areas in California, are getting way too expensive, and people who in other places would be reasonably well off, but in those areas are at the lower end of making it. They're having to pack their bags and leave. Texas, I don't think Texas is going to stop growing anytime soon. I think within about 20 or 30 years, Texas will be the largest state in the union population-wise. Whether that comes with a political realignment is a different story altogether. It probably will, but we're gonna have to see. Now, who does this benefit? Well, it benefits a few. It kind of benefits the Mountain West, and it benefits the Sun Belt in the South, at the detriment of the Rust Belt, New York, West Virginia, and, California. Now, if you look at the party alignment, judging by, since 2000, this is generally how they voted. Florida tends to be slightly more Republican leaning. Oregon, California, New York, and Illinois haven't. Michigan and Pennsylvania have voted all but one time for the Democrats. And Ohio, Bush won it twice, Obama won it twice, Trump won it twice. So basically in the same situation as Florida. So I'm putting it in the likely category. So overall, truth is, Colorado, I'm actually putting in the likely Dem category, by the way. Effectively, so the GOP... You know what? There's a better way to do this. there is a better way to do this. And the GOP effectively in states that gain, the GOP effectively has 2, 3, gets a net of 3 seats. And the Democrats, they effectively lose, what is the net? No state lost more than 1 district. That is kind of a shock, actually, to me. And I would only categorize 2 states as more Republican leaning of the states that lost, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've got a net loss of 3 for the Democrats, effectively. But it's not quite that simple. Based off of what I understand about Colorado geography, you have to be actively gerrymandering in order to get a Dem favorable map in Colorado in order to get a majority of Democrats, a majority Democratic delegation enshrined effectively with 8 districts. You're going to have 4 districts that tend to be slightly more conservative and 4 districts that lean more Democratic. Montana, there's going to be 1 district that is much more competitive than the other. It depends on how Montana draws it, but they have an independent commission. And I don't think they're going to split it north-south. They're going to split it east-west because Montana has a good part of the Great Plains. So it makes a lot more sense to split it Great Plains, mountains. Oregon, there's a power sharing gap, so the Republicans are actually going to likely be the ones to net that seat rather than the Democrats. So basically they're just going to draw the districts around the incumbent and then fill the space. North Carolina, the Republicans are almost certainly going to draw a new district that's favorable to the GOP, and that's the state legislature. The governor has no power here. Florida, guess what? Republicans have a trifecta. They're going to draw a map that's favorable to them. We'll see how many seats that nets, but there is a fair districting law, though there's a good possibility that the GOP ignores it. Texas, the GOP is going to go really aggressive. With 2 districts to play with, I think what they can do is rearrange San Antonio and Austin, as well as Dallas-Fort Worth area and Houston. They're probably going to do some work to try and expand the El Paso district down into Rio Grande Valley, solidify the 23rd. And we do a much more in-depth and active discussion about this on my live streams on Saturday nights. But I'm going to kind of draw with this information that we know now, I'm going to try and at some point draw a 50-state map with these numbers. And I'll do them as realistically as I can, and I'll analyze kind of where I personally feel things are going to go. It'll be kind of a prediction. I'll have enough time to do that, and we'll see exactly what happens, and I'll be keeping a close eye on the redistricting process and how it works out. If there's anybody who works for a state party that wants my input on a map in a state where there is partisan control, just hit me up. I would very much appreciate doing that. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. If you like the content, likes, comments, subscriptions, they always do help, and I greatly appreciate them. And I would love to hit 800 by Monday. It would be really nice to do kind of an 800 subscriber thing on my birthday. If we reach it before then, hell yeah, I would love that. And I do want to set a goal of 1,000 by the end of the year, because that's a good idea. Also, monetization is nice. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a very lovely evening, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy. Bye-bye.